We're back on the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We've been talking with Chase Houston, Fidelity National Title. You're the Vice President of National Commercial Sales. I got to go back to the your rotor job. So you were piloting. I'm going to guess, since you said it was here in Vegas, you were flying maybe tourist, something like that? Or was it were you flying some sort of industrial, like firefighting stuff?
No, so I actually did my training up in southern Utah in Cedar City.
Yeah.
Got my degree. Vegas was always home, so I was actually doing part-time operations down here for a second. But, you know, that's when I ran into my now boss. But as you were sort of touching on earlier, it's definitely something that stays in your heart, whether you do it often or you don't do it often. But I would say the people in the industry are definitely brave for going up every day, and it takes a certain type of personality to want to go up every day, too.
Real good. So that led you to your commercial sales. So, Brian, wanted to ask you a little bit. You were touching on cap rate, touching on rates and things. You know, what would developers waiting to see to get in the market? Is it that cap rate? To go with that?
Yeah. Rate? Is there a certain benchmark that you're noticing that people are looking for?
Well, I mean, not necessarily looking for. I would just say the average out there right now is around a 6 cap. I mean, I think developers are looking for about 2 things to get construction going, and that's construction pricing stability and rate clarity. And I say clarity just because people want to just know what's going to be happening next. There's a lot going on in the world, from the tariff talk to political stuff, X, Y, and Z, and people just need to know what's going to be happening by tomorrow. So as I was touching on earlier, some of these landowners still remember the 2021 pricing, which causes some lenders to be a little more conservative. And on top of that, it just seems like the buyer and seller disconnect is still pretty far apart. But, you know, that said, development hasn't stopped. It's just a bit more selective right now. And projects that are penciling, like the industrial guys, seem to be moving forward, which we know. But other sectors like retail and multifamily need to find what seems to be the perfect site and perfect numbers to get it to pencil and to get it across the finish line.
Well, speaking of that multifamily, I wish I remembered since you brought that up, did you see that project that just closed? It was in the tens of millions at $334 a unit. And we're talking about a apartment complex. I remember the name of the unit, but wow. You know, one of these biggies you saw, it was $334,000 for an apartment unit. It's like that multiple, you start playing with that math. I was doing that math, but you know, these are big, smart companies. You think with having that kind of money, pretty bullish pricing to see. And then that kind of leads me over to the story I just saw, that Vegas is leading the numbers, and there's metrics to show it from California. We've always known that it's a big move to market, but right now with the thoughts on taxes and where they're going to be going in California, we're getting more and more people here. And this was actually, in fact, a California company buying this multifamily. Multifamily is still looking promising. You're seeing that. I mean, you see these huge projects are out there. Is that something that's going to be still bullish, that people are looking for fresh dirt to build?
Fresh dirt to build may be a different story. Yep. As far as just transactions go, it's definitely going to be, I mean, consistent. I mean, this past year it finished just shy of around $1.5 billion, but I mean, it stayed steady because of population growth, like you were saying. I mean, these California residents come to Las Vegas drooling over our home prices and rent prices. And
sure,
not even to mention we're a sports city now, too. So we're getting more of a population from different states. And, you know, even with more units delivered this past year, occupancy has remained stable and rents have actually flattened, ironically. So I heard a wise guy once say over at North Cap that flat is the new up. So right. I think that's a good indicator that we're in a healthier market than where we once were.
Well, we're talking about on the residential side, the story that Jim just had, down 13.6% on those, on the residential side. But so you're right, that flat is kind of the new up, right? Just to kind of tread water beats going down. What are we going to ask, Brian?
Well, is that pretty much what you're looking to see for 2026? Just flat, or do you predict it going up?
And by sector, take that out a little bit further. In which sector do you see that?
You know what? That's hard to say. I don't want to give people false expectations because my glass ball could be way wrong. But, you know, I will say this. I am optimistic for what's to come this year. I do think we're going to see a bit of a good push around the end of quarter 2, beginning of quarter 3. And I think that's going to be a lot to come from Powell getting replaced. I don't think if somebody were to go in there and immediately cut rates that it's going to cause a healthy market, because if we cut rates immediately, that's just going to make prices go up. In that sense, we're in a similar market to where we are now, if not worse. But I think having a new face in that chair is going to make a lot of people confident in what's to come. We're going to still have to work through a lot of growing pains. Everybody knows that. But as far as where we're headed, I think we're definitely at the near end of the tunnel.
Let me finish you up with this. What does Fidelity National commercial side specifically do for buyers and sellers? How do you help with those transactions? We know on the residential side, pretty straightforward, but what all do you do beyond traditional escrow service?
Great question, because people can look at title and escrow very generically. It's easy to say, hey, we close commercial transactions. Please, can we have your business?
Right.
But from day one, I was preached that we need to be a lot more than just a face. We're big on lead generation. We're very heavy on tracking loan maturities. And, it's really wise for a lot of people in commercial real estate to at least have a title guy in the back pocket, because for one, we have to talk to everybody. We're great with connecting the dots, getting deals in front of people, connecting people with one another that we think would be beneficial. And, it's a really good time to be in the market as well, just because we're on the near end of what we've been seeing this past couple of years. And I think these next 2 to 3 years are going to be very, very bullish. So I'm very optimistic for what's to come.
I think that as well. There's just too much macro going. We're right down the street from the A's facility. They're going to be selling all the construction. I don't know how. Jerome Powell, a little over a year ago, in fact, said, unless the population declines, he goes, there'll never be this complete downward trend. Yes, we'll ebb and flow up and down between news cycles and things about the market, but chances are we're not going to be going down. And if you take that to here locally, I'm definitely bullish on here. I do appreciate you joining us. Chase Houston with Assistant Vice President for Commercial Sales with Fidelity National Title. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend and stay blessed.
I'm going to stay in touch with you because I am doing more commercial now. I'm working with Brian. We're seeking our leads ourselves, so I hope to connect with you in the very near future.
I love it, man. We'd love to chat.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you to
Guys.
Jeremy Wallace for putting us in contact with that. We're partnered with Ticor, and Fidelity is the parent company for that. So, Brian, he's talking about bullishness. We see the market. We're seeing these decline in prices and things right now, things that really are setting you up to be a buyer's market. All the stories, I screenshot of just a ton of them today. People are still moving here, but prices are coming down. We went from 480. What were we at? 488 in November.
Yep.
We're back down in that 470 range. What do we talk about? That is, would you be in a spot? Do you want to be in that spot where you're out there fighting with a lot of other buyers? Like he just said, if the rates come down too quickly, all of a sudden you have this artificial, right? This is a monetary policy from the Fed.
Well, if you remember back when you were in the 3% range, did you ever buy the house at list?
No, they went up. So it's like, yes, you get half of one. Your rate goes down. That's great. It drives up the competition. And then the sellers say, boy, I got all these people at my house. I'm going to want more, right? I remember in that COVID, and I was not optimistic at all. I had a buyer that wanted to go out, and I parked it in an open house. They had underpriced the heck out of this house. I'm telling you, we went 2 blocks. I'm not exaggerating. Had to walk down there, and they're flipping it, and the house went way over. And people are like, look at my offer, 60, 70,000 over. They priced it super low to generate leads. We might not have that market again soon, but right now might be the time to actually get out there and get an application going. And you're working with multiple different buyers of us up and down the price range. We are seeing significant amount of traffic. I just saw the number today from Realtor.com said that applications are up this last week about 8%, and part of that has to do with the big huge snowstorm back east. It took down a national level, but it feels like a little bit of a spring buying season.
No, it's a lot more activity. People calling in and they're wanting their approvals fast. They want to get out there. Well, Chase Houston was just saying, it depends on the narrative. You talk about Vegas being low. I've said, if you talk to an agent, whether it's a loan officer like Brian or somebody like me that has 20, 30 plus deals going at the time, their perspective on whether or not it's a good market
or what you should be doing with pricing is probably different. And I think who you talk to
actually
matters.
You're right, because I talked to a loan officer today, another one.
They haven't done anything.
He didn't do anything for 7 months.
Right, we talked about the numbers. 71% of agents 2 years in a row haven't done any. What are you thinking, Jim?
Well, I saw an article, 19% of the deals in December in the Vegas Valley have fallen through.
Yep.
So, and that could be, I assume, for a variety of reasons. Maybe the financing falls through or whatever. But
more likely, some of it is the cold feet. What do I mean by that? I've got an offer out right now. It's somebody that Brian just closed. They're buying a house and selling it with us, and they're listening through the Ring camera to him. The wife loves it. The husband doesn't love it. And I said, listen, you go into escrow with these people. They want to do a long escrow. They want to do a 75-day escrow. I'm like, that's a lot of time to get cool feet. That's when we look at our due diligence period, the outset that seller can get. People get cold feet. They find something else on the market, maybe a house they liked before, Brian, that came on, fell out for another reason, and they break up. So that's kind of like getting engaged. You break up, you're back on the market, then you get back into it. So that number, though, leads the nation in breakups.
Oh, yeah. You just mentioned something. You're looking at a house. You got to be careful. The Ring camera's on.
So I tell people, it's okay to say that you like the house, but they're listening, and they told me everything. They came back yesterday. I was in San Diego getting onboarding and with my new brokerage down there in San Diego. So they told me what they said, and they said, they had cool feet, and their offer's not very good. We've countered it. I'm like, maybe you hold off a little bit because you really want to get tied up, do all the process with that, and then they fall out of the deal. So that gets down to the competition, guys, is that there's more houses on the market. Rates are they are coming down, right? They're coming down and stuff. But there's far fewer buyers on it, right? We rank number 2 in the nation as that buyer's market. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more. We're running up on a break here. Appreciate Brian Ichikawa with theratepro.com. I want to talk about some specific loans that we're getting out, numbers that you may not have seen on the headline. Thinking